to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King. And on this powerful Wednesday, while we rolling into this incredible Thursday, all I got to say is, man, oh man, do we have some things to talk about. Final Fantasy VII is moving and shaking in these streets. High Guard isn't. We got to talk about that. And Microsoft financials is in, baby. Ooh. Did somebody wet the bed? We'll talk about those things and more right after this. Fantasy VII Remake on the Series X or the Series S. Remember, with the Xbox, you can jump from console to console all over the place. Well, Digital Foundry are highly impressed with it. Now, you do get a chance to see them talk about the Switch and how the Switch textures are using the PlayStation 4 assets, while the Series S is using the PlayStation 5 assets. We get a chance to see the differences between the consoles. Now, I've always told you that, the Switch 2, for all intents and purposes, is a cute machine. Does stuff nice. But when it comes to big boy stuff, well, we got to leave the big boy stuff to the big boys. And the Series S, well, he's little brother to Big Boy Series X. I understand. Now, we're in the current generation right now, and the Switch just caught up. I still think the Switch 2 is lacking when it comes to all of this generation. But they do have their own titles. And when you have your own titles and they're exclusive to you, this is the reason why exclusives mean something. Because when you are deficient and you have an exclusive, there's nothing else to compare you to. So this is why a lot of, the PlayStation guys love exclusives, because if that game was on everywhere, well, then you could get to see the competition and how the competition runs it. Well, you realize that you're not that special water bug. And I think that's really the main reason why these guys champion exclusive. And there's absolutely no reason why third-party companies should be exclusive. Now, a lot of times people try to act like they can read financials, but this is from Media Play News. And I'm going to get into this piece by Eric Grunwald. Knowing how to read financials and seeing financials is pretty cool. Microsoft quarterly Xbox revenue declines 9%. Hardware sales is down 32% based upon last year's estimate. That's year-on-year decline. They saw from Microsoft Gaming Division, which includes Xbox hardware and video games, saw a 9% decline in year-over-year revenue, down to $5.99 billion from $6.6 billion in the prior year, driven by a 32% drop in hardware sales for the fiscal second quarter ending in December 31st, 2025. The Xbox content and service revenue, which formerly included Hollywood movies and TV shows, dropped to 5% minus. Microsoft no longer offers third-party entertainment content for purchase on MicrosoftStore.com, a Microsoft Store on Windows, and a Microsoft Store on Xbox. There's the 5% drop there. So they counted the movies as part as services. So 5% is removed off of the books based upon the no longer selling movie. See, a lot of times people will tell you that they're doing bad, but these guys don't know how to read, but that won't fit their narrative. The decline in hardware revenue was attributed to a lower volume of consoles sold. The drop in content and services and video games is due to the part of the underperforming Call of Duty series, Black Ops 7, compared to a strong comparable quarter from the prior year that benefited from a strong performance of Black Ops 6. The growth in Xbox Game Pass and third-party content. So last year you had a larger growth in Game Pass and you had a better title in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which we all knew. The gaming segment are part of Microsoft's personal computing revenue, which dipped to 3% to $14.25 billion, down from $14.7 billion in the previous year. The segment and operating income topped off at $3.8 billion. So they're operating definitely in a good margin. Again, trying to interpret it in financials with surface education is a bit rough for these guys. So don't fall back too hard on people trying to read financials and trying to have a gotcha moment that just shows their limited capacity to understand financials. But it is absolutely okay, because here we intend to educate you.
To be honest, I'm comfortable being who I am. Not pressed to fit in. Not worried about going out partying. Not worried about having a lot of friends. Just being me. Staying out the way. Staying in my own lane. And just doing what works for me.
All I got to say is High Guard is, man. High Guard. High Guard. Oh my God, man. I got a chance to play it yesterday, and I'm gonna be real with you. I can see why it fell off. I think it has like 9,000 consistent players at the moment on Steam. And I don't know if it's greater than Concord, lesser than Concord. I can tell you my experience of it. My experience is it feels like a polished 360 game, to be real with you. The experience is broken. The level of immersion into the game, I'm not going to lie, the tutorial is fantastic. But the actual execution of playing with teams sucks. It should have been more than just 3 versus 3. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And I don't know if somebody was trolling us, but obviously somebody got their laughs at our expense. At least it's free to play. All I did was lose a half an hour of my time. And I know you're going to say, well, King, you should have gave it more than a half an hour. Well, no. I want that half an hour back that I can never get back in this lifetime. One of the big titles coming from Playground Games is Forza Horizon 6. Now, Playground Games has come out to confirm Forza Horizon 6 will run on the Xbox ROG Ally and have a huge level of support. Following its release, Forza Horizon 6 minimum PC system requirements, many gamers wondered if the game would run on the Asus Xbox ROG Ally and Xbox ROG Ally X. As part of the fact, Playground Games confirmed the game will support Windows 11-based PC handhelds and definitely support their in-house handheld. And Final Fantasy VII remake is off to a great start on Xbox. It's available on Xbox Series S and X, available since January 22nd. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate has climbed to the top of the best-selling games on Xbox. While it's obviously too early to get actual sales figures, Square Enix RPG seems to be off to a fantastic start on all green platforms. Also, it released on the Switch 2, and listen, for $40, you get a chance to get one of the best RPGs this generation and last generation. So why wouldn't you? On the Xbox, I mean, you get an extra perk with the Play Anywhere, so you're able to just jump on with your Xbox ROG Ally and Xbox ROG Ally X and just play anywhere, or jump on the PC, or play how you want to play. Again, you get the definitive edition when you pick it up for the low price of $40 when you play with Xbox. Or if you have a Switch, too, you can play it there. There and there only.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Yo, I gotta call out this William Wright of what is this Tip Ranks. All right, so check it out. This is how you can write a terrible article. Microsoft stock was down Wednesday alongside the news two developers pulling Xbox versions of their games. Microsoft stock is actually up in his in this article. All right, so check it out. He said two third-party publishers of 1348X Veto and Nickelodeon's Splat Pack have canceled Xbox versions of the games. Actually, they didn't cancel the versions of the games. What they did was prioritize the PlayStation and the PC versions of the games based upon them not getting the green light, because you have to go through checks and balances for your games, and I heard that like Microsoft joint was stringent. All right, unlock the hedge fund data. Yo, that's the stupidest. All right, so 1348 Ex Vato, publisher of Dear Villagers, released a note to his fans explaining the reason for the cancellation of the Xbox version. He said, while it's previously announced that the game will be released on Xbox console, we have the unfortunate news that is no longer the case, as the release process for the indie team priorities and consistently evaluate. Sometimes we must shift to deliver the best experience possible. With this in mind, we made the difficult decision to cancel the Xbox version to focus efforts on the PC and the PlayStation 5 versions of the game. For the moment. In case of the Nickelodeon Splat Pack, a collection of retro games based upon properties owned by the Paramount Skydance, no official reason for cancellation was given. Instead, limited run games only confirmed that the versions was canceled. Limited run games are the ones that make physical games. Nobody on the Xbox side is buying physical games. Nobody's damn sure not pre-ordering Nickelodeon Splat Pack. There's no denying that Xbox hasn't performed well as its fellow video game hardware companies, Nintendo and Sony, both of which are down by 1.42% and 1.68% recently. The Xbox Series S has only shipped about 28 million consoles since 2020, which is really a lie. That's 35, compared to Nintendo's 154 million Switch units sold since 2017, and this guy doesn't know. And Sony's 84.2 million PlayStation 5 units sold since 2020. The lackluster Xbox sales only slightly above 24 million sold for the original Xbox, while Microsoft was still carving out a name for the brand. Sony and Nintendo and Sega Sega's down 2.48%. Notice that out of this whole thing, Microsoft is the only one that's up plus 22, right? Okay. They also fell below the 58 million of Xbox One units shipped and 84 million Xbox 360 units shipped. Microsoft stock was down 0.16% on Wednesday, extending to 0.78% year on date in the fall. However, Microsoft stock was up 8.65% over the last 12 months. And you can see at the closing of the stock day, Microsoft stock is at $479.83. And then you look at a projected stock of the forecast of the Microsoft stock in the next 12 months. They expect it to go from $479.83 to a high of $618.85. So a lot of times people really look at stocks and don't really understand stocks, right? Now, listen, Microsoft earnings stocks have sunk despite beating second quarter estimates. Now, they beat the estimates that they had in place, right? The Microsoft shares is up 0.22%. And saying hours after trading, the tech company reported its second quarter results, adjusting earnings per share to $4.14, which beats analyst consensus of $3.91. Listen, analysts had predicted that they will only they will only beat the shares by an average of $3.91. They actually beat the shares at $4.14. So they came in higher than expected. Sales came in at 81.27 billion, a 17% increase, which also beat analysts' expectations because they had them at 80.31 billion. So a lot of times when these guys is worrying about stocks and trying to figure out stocks, and looking at a stock that is like $29 compared to a high price, high value stock and an Xbox and Microsoft stock, their evaluation is that of a novice, and the evaluations of the experts are pretty much spot on. So, like, this is why I go to Tip Ranks, and they give you pretty much spot on when you got trade solutions, right? So, one analyst told you, like, Gabe Ross went in, said, keep on buying the Xbox stocks. Top investors double down on Microsoft stock because buying Microsoft stock actually is a huge investment. Like I told you here, they have projected growth in the next 12 months to the upwards of 618.85 cents. So, and the stock right now is at 479.83 cents. Again, if you're in the business for getting stock or trying to figure out what to read when you're looking at stock and analyzing things, you'll realize that Xbox and Microsoft is really cooking when other people will have you believe that they're not cooking at all. Just to keep this under wraps, there's a rumor going around that Xbox might be planning a second developer direct showcase in 2026. Yes, of course, obviously, like they did last year. Also, Nintendo is looking to have their direct. I think the first week. I think next week. It should be like I think it's like February 2nd, and Sony should be doing theirs around the 14th or the 15th, somewhere around there in the teens. Again, this is par for the course. We're getting information for what these companies want to do in the coming year. So Microsoft always leads the charge, with Nintendo pulling up second and Sony bringing up the rear, like always. I told you a million times before that the PlayStation 4 owner is hurting the PlayStation 5, is hurting the generation. They're holding us back. Sony is getting sick and tired of it, and they're reaching out directly to PlayStation 4 owners and telling them, hey man, upgrade to a PlayStation 5. With Zubitech putting out this picture from PlayStation, you've played a good game in 2025. Whether you catching up with its hits from 2025, like Clair Obscura, Expedition 33, Arc Raiders, and Ghost of Yode, or getting ready for the most anticipated games of 2026, including Soros, 007, Noah, and much more, now is the perfect time to upgrade to a PlayStation 5 consoles. Scan the QR code to see the latest deal on consoles. And that perfectly tells you where we are. It's not an Xbox thing. I mean, even though Xbox was third place regardless, Switch seems to be immune for some weird reason. But the ones taking the blunt of it is really Xbox and PlayStation, where the economy is forcing people into a one console ecosystem, and digitally you would be that. So wherever you pick, like last generation, you pretty much is going to be stuck this generation. So them seeing how many people are still on PlayStation 4, and I know a ton of people that haven't even upgraded yet because financially they just couldn't, they can't justify the cost and long work hours and stuff like that. PlayStation sees the issue and they're reaching out to their core audience and trying to get them to convert over. It is a futile attempt, in my opinion, this far along into the generation, whereas you're still asking for these guys to jump on board. I don't think they will, be honest with you. Now, I want to thank each and every last one of you for sticking around this far in the video as we talk about all the things that make sense. Now, what makes sense is financials. Xbox financials come in, they remove movies and TVs from their services, and their services take a little bit of a dip. Okay, you're not selling movies and services. So obviously there's going to be a dip. Everything else is moving according to plan. The games that they drop, the sales that they have, all this and that and a third. Now, the biggest glaring thing is hardware. Hardware isn't selling. Now, hardware for everyone isn't selling except for Nintendo. They're the only outliers, right? And when it comes to understanding how this thing is working, financially, we're all in a quagmire. We're all in a pickle. No one can have extra consoles. I mean, that's a luxury. If you're like myself and you support multiple ecosystems, I'm talking about Xbox, VR, Steam, PlayStation, everything, Switch. I have online services for every one of them. The VR is the one my son plays the most. With supporting these ecosystems, then you have to prioritize where you're going to have your digital library at. And regardless to what anybody wants to say, whether you want to acknowledge this or not, the casual device is the PlayStation. And the PlayStation is a device that a lot of people made their home, but they're not buying games. Now, how they are raised up is they buy like 1 or 2 titles per year. Some Xbox guys do that, but Xbox has pushed their ecosystem over to Game Pass and digital, play anywhere, play everywhere, do all. They're trying to exist in a digital ecosystem where the essence can be spread all across many devices. Pause. PlayStation is trying to do so, but while retaining ownership of their digital self, while telling PlayStation 4 guys, upgrade to PlayStation 5 so you can have these PlayStation 5 experiences. I think that's kind of a futile effort based on if they wanted to upgrade, they would have upgraded already. Financially, they may not be able to, based upon now is the time that you would normally have a more robust amount of sales based on the lower price points of consoles. That has not transpired. Consoles have went up in price. So that's a detriment to those individuals that were looking for a sale. So when it comes to this matter of how the financials are perceived, Microsoft and Xbox is projected to go up to $618 in the next 12 months. So their stock prices are rosy. Where analysts were looking at their projections, they beat their second quarter projections by a good margin. So don't ever look at projections and feel like you know exactly what it is unless you know stocks. In the subject of High Guard, High Guard tries to do a lot of things. I think the buying gear, looking for resources, I think that drags the game down. The fortifying round, the 3 players in such a large map. It's too ambitious for what is presented. The moves are not effective enough in certain instances. The shooting is not good. Targeting sucks. Graphics are subpar. The game looks like a 360 game. It looks like a bygone era, but it's ambitious. I don't think it will ever live long enough to see those ambitions realized. I think, honestly, the game is not good at all. And that sucks because I think Jeff tried to give that signal boost, and it kind of backfired on him because everybody rebelled against the game. And it's not like it's a good game anyway. So, high guard, no good, man. Microsoft is working on a huge deal right now when it comes to RAM and securing a pipeline for distribution of RAM going into the Azure cloud system with that new custom chip, the Maya chip, the 200. There's a whole new movement happening. And if any of you got a chance to try the streaming that I asked you to try yesterday, please let me know what was your result. Because everybody thinks they know where Microsoft is going with this and trying to understand where everything is. You don't. The moves that are being made, and they're going to jump significantly, is based upon the whole AI infrastructure. Everybody talks about how they want the AI bubble to pop, and they're waiting for the AI bubble. The bubble's not going to pop. We're there. We're here. This is not the housing crisis. So stop. What we're witnessing right now is the birth of a giant, and Microsoft is extending their arms all across the AI universe, and you're going to see how detrimental and how incredible it is while it's happening. We waited a while for Final Fantasy, and I'm going to dig into Final Fantasy this Friday, picking it up on Friday because I'm going to play this weekend. I waited until, because it made no sense. I was playing Ragebound. If you saw my picture on Twitter, I was playing Ragebound on the cloud. And it's crazy because it is dope to be able to jump into your games and just pick up your controller and just play. And it's an incredible experience. And I'm trying to explain to you, go check it out. If you believe me or don't, just try it. Try it on my recommendation. That's all. And I heard somebody say that they had bad latency. Just see it. Go see. Maybe they got things in place for you. Because I was playing, and I'm telling you right now, this is wizardry. My wife was shocked. But Final Fantasy VII is outperforming the Series S version. If you watch Digital Foundry, the Series S version is outperforming the Switch version. And that's a good thing, right? Because you want to see your investment, especially if you're an Xbox guy. We clown on everybody else. We want to have the superior tech. And it's just, when you code for it, you get good results. That's just about it. That's the end all be all. So again, every day, if you look on Twitter, you see people upset with me because I don't rock with PlayStation. Bro, if you look in the picture, I have 2 PlayStation controllers. When I purchase my consoles, I purchase them with 2 controllers. Not like anybody else is going to play with me. Pause. It's just, I'm going to play the games. I don't know why I do it. It's just a habit. I always buy 2 controllers. Console. That's a PlayStation 5 Pro. Then you see the PlayStation VR 2 there. Then you see the Elite Pulse headsets there. That's the new one. That's the upgraded one, bro. Then you see the camera. You got to realize I choose Xbox. To me, Xbox is superior. But I play everywhere. I would never tell you don't go out and purchase what you love. Like, I will never do that. If you are a PlayStation person, I will always tell you, go do your thing, man. Go play, go get it. If that's what you do. If you're an Xbox person, of course, I'm like, compadre, mi amigo, comrade. Let's go get it. You understand? Because you know, like, I know what we doing here. Like, you know, I can tell you, quick resume, I can tell you things, and you'd be like, yeah, me. I can tell you, man, it's like no other. Right? Biases aside, that's just what it is. On the Switch, listen, man. I get a Nintendo because I like to play certain titles when they come out, and other than that, it is what it is. If I touch it within 6 months, I do or I don't, whatever. Steam, my Xbox ROG Ally kind of like knocked that out the box, my Steam Deck, but I still use Steam. Because Steam is just a storefront. So, what I'm trying to say to you guys is, a lot of times, you see me online going at you guys. I'm just having fun, poking a bear. We're supposed to joke and stuff. I say a lot of you guys really take it serious. It's kind of weird. Weird energy. Don't ever get it twisted. When I'm talking about hold the line, I'm talking to content creators that were acting up and giving y'all bad information and causing all types of things just to get clicks and views. And I just find that disgusting. When I said they destroyed themselves, I knew about Indiana Jones. I just said they better not show that shit at the end of the show because I felt there was no need for it at all. Not knowing that, in Germany where they was a large PlayStation contingent and they were on wish list and they're trying to get their bread. Oh, okay. Pimp yourself. Go do your thing. Still destroyed yourself. Is what it is. I mean, like I tell you before, I'm going to tell you a million times. If I was running the company, I'd run it straight into the ground. Simple as that. Standing on business. There's no standing on business when your business is survival. Everybody that's yelling out Xbox is dead or Xbox is cooked, you truly don't understand exactly what the hell is going on in front of you. What you're watching is the best scraping and scrambling you're ever going to see. See, yeah, they could have took the route of Sega. These dudes are doing something I've never seen before. This is really like watching a Terminator film. Or Ultron jumping from body to body. It's the wildest thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm glad that I rep them. Because I don't want nobody to roll over easy. I don't want a Sega situation. I don't want, hey guys, we're closing. Fuck that. Fight to the death. Because as you see, little by little, Sony is losing a piece of itself. TVs, gone. Digital self, gone. They're like holding on to PlayStation. They lost the PC. They lost the mobile. So just keep watching. I just can't I can't wrap my head around Nintendo. I don't know what those guys are going to do. They're the most unpredictable company ever. Business-wise, everything. They're just the most unpredictable. But what I'm going to do, what I'm going to tell you to do, is what I try to do. Is I try to go where game is game and win is win. Try to do it every day. Because I love it. I'm going to tell you to do it. I'm going to tell you to try to play the Game Pass.
Now let me alone and piss off.
Play it day one with Game Pass.